Welcome to Pixel Pickers, the podcast for players picking the pixels that pack a punch. I'm Jarvis.
And I'm still Josh.
All right, so we have kind of a triple header with a little marathon treat at the end. Josh is going to be leading us in with South of Midnight. I'm going to be doing Blueprints, and then we'll both come back together in a sweet, milky chocolate vanilla mix for DMC. That sounds perfect to me. How about you?
Yeah, it sounds great. You could call it a marathon of content.
Oh, I get it. It's like the 1994 Bungie game and nothing else.
Gotta love DOS shooters. But before we get to marathon, there is a game I really do want to talk about. South of Midnight came out last week before there was early access the week before. I didn't pay for early access. I got it on Game Pass like a normal person. And Jarvis, let me tell you, South of Midnight is freaking awesome.
Nice. It looks great, so I'm really excited to hear that.
So, for those of you who don't know what South of Midnight is, it's like a action, but also kind of platformy game, very in the vein of like Kena Bridge of Spirits or even Hi-Fi Rush, but without all the music and staying on beat stuff that made Hi-Fi Rush the hardest game in existence for me.
Oh boy.
Yeah, was really bad at hitting on the beat. It was embarrassing. Don't ask.
I played Guitar Hero with him, folks. He's not that bad, but I take his word.
There's a lot going on in Hi-Fi Rush, though. Anyway, in South of Midnight, you play as this girl, Hazel, who's trying to rescue her mom after their house gets washed away during a hurricane in Louisiana. And along the way, she discovers the power of the Weavers, which lets her basically get rid of evil feelings that have manifested into enemies for you to fight. And as you are chasing down your mom, you are basically getting the backstories of 6 different people that have had these very tragic backstories. And when I first started playing the game, when the game opens up, Hazel will like drop F-bombs and stuff, and I'm like, that's really weird. Why would they do that? Like, why make this game that should be like a very like, we want to make this game as accessible as possible because of like, it's about Louisiana folklore and, you know, made for all ages type things. How I like seeing the trailers is what I thought it looked like. Am I like wrong about that vibe, Jarvis?
Yeah, entirely wrong about that vibe. It
No.
had a super creepy vibe. I did not read your all ages thing into it at all. I would disagree.
I mean, like, I read it as like creepy as in like, yeah, Louisiana folklore is just like inherently creepy. I wasn't like getting the like, oh, this is
I think it had a mature look to it. Like, even though it was, you know, it is inherently stylized and cartoony, I actually feel like it did not surprise me. What surprised me is you being so surprised by the maturity of the dialogue and the themes, actually.
Well, you know, I didn't look into it too hard. I was like, this game looks cool. I want to play it. Had my preconceived notions about it and did not read into it. I was like, I'm going to fight a big alligator. It's going to be great. Which I did fight a big alligator, which was okay. But I just went in with like that preconceived notion and like all my notions were subverted basically. Because you deal with some very like hard topics and the whole game is about like dealing with loss and maybe penance for actions you may have committed, not the character but as a person in general. And they tackle it beautifully, and it's beautifully animated and done, and it is a really great story with really great writing. Now, where a lot of people are going to kind of hit this game though is the gameplay, because it is very much a like the action and the platforming are very like sequestered from one another. Like they do not mix. They are 2 separate entities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is where you're hitting more of your accessibility. Like, you're not necessarily all ages, but, you know, it doesn't seem to be locking itself out from, you know, a casual gamer, because what they want you to experience is a story, from what you were saying.
Yeah. So, like for example, in between battles, you will have platforming sections, and as the game goes on, you get more platforming abilities. But you can, run, jump, wall run, air dash, and even do like a tiny glide. And that never really gets difficult, even though like
Yeah.
you can tell like the way it's built, like they could have some like really cool platforming challenges that they never really deliver on, like what all you can do. For example, every time you complete a character's story, it's called completing a pattern. There's a chase scene, and during this chase scene is like, here's where we're going to tie in all the platforming things you've learned so far. So it's going to have the wall running. It's going to have the hazards of like the spiky bushes that pop out and try to spike you, or mantling, or something like that. And none of those get very difficult. Now, I'm not saying those sequences need to be difficult, but kind of like if you played Jedi Survivor back when that came out, where it had those like secret extra abilities, like extra rooms, the challenges,
Yeah.
where some of those are like almost Celeste level difficult. Not saying they need to be that difficult, but make me use your platforming system more, especially when
Yeah.
it's obvious you put so much work into it.
So it platforms well, they just don't utilize the system that they created as
Yeah,
well as they could.
yes,
Okay.
I think like the platforming is the objectively best part of the game, because you have like beautiful world with amazing like set design, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
and you get to do cool things around it. But I would like to like take some of that, and like there's some abstract places in this game, especially towards the end, like really play with that and like use that to build cool levels. But the other part of the game that I think most people are gonna have complaints about is combat. So when you play like an action game, you're like, oh, I am very obviously walking into a combat arena. Like there's
Yeah.
look at all this waist high cover or this perfectly circle room or something like that. This game does that, and it's straight up about it. It's like, does not try to hide it. Every time you're about to
Hmm.
walk into a combat area, because there's a like little like moat, not even a little moat, a big moat of darkness that effectively that you have to cleanse. And it's just sitting there, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk in there, and it shows you like where the barrier is, like this battle is going to start before you enter. And
Yeah.
then you just go in and you fight however many creatures that they call haints.
Yeah.
Uh,
Classic southern term for a ghost
yeah,
or a demon ghoulie type thing.
and you go and you just fight all of those, and you cleanse them and you cleanse the area. So that's some people might not like that, because it really puts the almost the gaminess of it in front of you. It didn't bother me, but because I don't really care about stuff like that for the most part. It's just something I noticed. I was like, okay, like you very much know like the pattern of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And
Now, does the combat actually play well outside of, being obviously presented to you, or is it kind of like the platforming, or even less so, where they didn't even make a really good combat system?
so
How
I
do you feel about it?
think the combat system is okay. Remember back like on the PlayStation 2, where you had
Yeah.
kind of like character action games, not like Devil May Cry, but like
Yeah.
I'm like I don't know how
A
to.
character platformer is kind of what it sounds like to me, like a Spyro, even a PS1 era type thing, but,
Yeah, like a
less about
Spyro or
platforming and
those
collecting.
classic movie video games.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
bought Incredibles for the PS2, and
Okay, now you're just straight up insulting
no
this
no no
game
no
that
no
you
no no.
liked.
Why is that a reference to something? Incredibles for the PS2? I don't know.
Sounds like it's a reference to Incredibles for the PS2.
Possibly. That's like a touchstone for me because I played it as a kid. But like
Gotcha.
what I'm talking about, like where you go in and you have like the only attacks you have is a 5-hit combo is your main attack. There's no light or
Yep.
heavy attack.
Oh, dang.
It's just that main combo, and then you have abilities you can use. You get a push, a pull, one that's called weave, which just is like you put them in a stun state where they take more damage and can't
Gotcha.
move, and another one where you can take control of them. And then
So,
later in the game, you unlock like an area of effect attack.
so to me, it does really sound like very similar to the comparison you made right at the top, which is Kenna. Like that's a game where it's all about the vibes, but the gameplay does not necessarily deliver to the same extent that the vibes and the cutesiness and the awesome soundtrack really match up to.
Yeah, it's exactly that because the vibes of this
Yeah.
game are immaculate.
Okay.
Pixel perfect vibes. Like I'd be like the game. Like when you start thinking it overstays its welcome, it gives you something new. Like the game is
Nice.
constantly introducing either new things like a new platforming ability, new uh combat ability, which is also used in like the non-combat zones. Like you use your push and pull to solve very basic puzzles, and the weave ability pulls things in from like non-reality,
Gotcha.
like
Yeah.
create platforms. So like
Would you say this is almost a good prototype for a very fun game? Like, do you think a sequel could be coming from them? Does it give you that vibe at all? Or are you thinking that they are just using the game as a kind of delivery system for an awesome story?
I think it's more a delivery system for an awesome story.
Okay.
I would love a second one because, like I
Okay.
said, like you can see that, like if they just had, I think if they just spent like another year just like polishing this diamond,
Yeah.
like mechanically,
Gaming the game a bit more.
yeah, like gamifying the game a bit more. I think
Yeah, that's fair.
it would, like, will this probably end up on my game of the year list? I 100% think so because
Oh, wow.
I loved the characters. I had, it's one of those games where like I was like I wanted to have it beat by the time we record the podcast, and that could mean I sit there and grind it out for the 10 hours it took me to beat it. But like I made myself stop and like slow down and like take breaks from it because like I didn't want it to end. Like when the
Do you
credits
know
rolled, I wanted more in a good
about
way.
how long was your entire gameplay experience?
About 10 hours.
Oh, okay, so it's still like even with slowing down, there wasn't anything else in the game that you could kind of sidetrack to or
So
anything.
while you're exploring, you can collect things called floof. That's their upgrade points. And that
Ah,
allows you to upgrade your abilities. And usually you're given a straight, narrow path you can follow, right?
yeah,
And you can do the Dead Space thing where you click the right stick and it shows you the way so
yeah,
that you
yeah,
can go the other way and go explore.
yeah, yeah,
That's how I used it. It was never to show me which way to go, it show me which way not to
yeah. So
go.
you could turn around and go down the alleyway or something.
Exactly. And like that's where you'll find a lot more of your like random platforming and different little activities. But like there's no hidden encounters or anything
Okay,
like that. It's just like do this little platforming challenge that's never very hard unless it's jumping
yeah,
on branches. Those are still a little too precise of a jump that for the what the game gives you.
gotcha.
And you get some floof and they come in increments of like 5, 10, and 20. And it takes like I think at max 125 to upgrade a late game ability.
Gotcha. So
And
pretty.
but and sometimes there's health upgrades. If you find 3 and there's usually 1 per level.
Okay. So it's pretty surprising, like, your overall reaction to this game in that, you're saying, could it end up on your Game of the Year list, which we're, a third of the way through the year so far, and you're saying definite, absolutely it could. But the game itself doesn't sound like it really grabbed you. Like, that's how affecting the story and characters were. That's pretty incredible.
Right? And that is a me thing. Like again, I love story in video games and
Yeah,
it's a scale. Like a good story can lift mediocre gameplay. Great gameplay can lift a mediocre story.
absolutely.
I thoroughly enjoy this game. Like now I'm not saying it might be in my top 3, but like 100% a top 10 of the year unless the rest of the year is just insane. It's possible with how this year looks.
Kirby Air Riders. Oh wait, no, that's next year. Oh, thank God, it would knock off everything on my
I don't know.
list.
Donkey Kong looks like a contender. It looks like
Oh yeah, well that's obviously like
Incredible
a top
Hulk
3 game.
Ultimate Destruction, but
Exactly,
Donkey Kong,
but truly ultimate destruction.
yeah, I'm excited for that game. But yes, if you have Game Pass or either PC or Xbox, like there's no, and you just like if you like video games or you like good stories,
Yeah,
there is no reason not to play South of Midnight. And if you're like,
yeah.
but I'm on PlayStation, har har, give it 6 months. You'll be playing South of Midnight.
Yeah, no, like we're definitely entering a great era for, with the exception of Nintendo, a real lack of actual exclusives in the world, and that's great. I love to see that. I love seeing, Last of Us remastered popping up on PC. That's pretty dope.
It is great, but like maybe it's just like the old gamer in me. Like
It is. It
seeing,
absolutely
like,
is.
I don't get mad at it, but like seeing certain games with the wrong buttons on the screen,
Oh yeah, you
that
know what?
fucks with my
Actually,
brain too hard. Like when you see people
uh,
playing Kingdom Hearts 2 on an Xbox controller, it's like
yeah.
press Y. I'm like, no, that's a triangle. You press
Yeah, we were
triangle to win.
watching Gab Smolders, great YouTube streamer. We were watching her play Resident Evil 4 separate ways, the Ada portion of that game. And she had swapped she was using an Xbox controller, so she swapped over all the inputs. And it felt so weird to see like an X button and an A button popping up in all the wrong ways. And I didn't think I would have that feeling, but I really did. Yeah,
It's like a uncanny valley almost. Like this is like those
absolutely.
fake games they play on the TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have weird
Uh,
series like that, like seeing Metal Gear, Resident Evil, like it doesn't matter even if they're new or old. Like if I see
yeah,
the wrong button pop up, like that just doesn't make sense. Even if I'm using the wrong controller, I don't care.
yeah.
Speaking
It
of which,
still
South of
feels weird.
Midnight does not work with my DualSense, at least through the Xbox app. It might on
Uh,
Steam, which is quite frustrating because other games on the Xbox app 100% work with my controller. So I had
that's
to steal
silly.
my wife's Xbox One controller.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of free games and Game Pass games, and specifically for me, a PlayStation Plus game I played, Blueprints dropped this last Friday, and for me, all the hype for it is well earned. I absolutely love this game. To give you the log line of it, Blueprints, you're playing as Simon, the heir to a beautiful mansion from his grandfather, and all you have to do, as stipulated by Simon's grandfather, is find the 46th room of his 45th room estate. Any true heir of his would be able to do this, so it should be easy enough as long as Simon is deserving of it. And I gotta say, it is not very easy to find this 46th room, but I am having a fantastic time getting lost in doing it. The actual, day-to-day gameplay, which day-to-day does feature into this, is effectively a puzzle roguelike. Each day sees Simon entering the house into the entrance hall, and you get three rooms, and from those are three doors, and from those three doors you can draft a one of three rooms off each of those, creating a branching path throughout the mansion. Now, you have to make sure that you have enough resources to get through the mansion. You have to make sure that you're creating an actual viable path, because any doors that lead into another room without a door on that side will just end up with a boarded up door. The resources we're talking about are steps. Each room takes a step from you. Keys, obviously, some rooms are going to be locked. And gems, which are just going to be rare dog sighting in the back. For our YouTube viewers, hey, sorry, podcast viewers, you can't see a dog, but who knows? Maybe if you check us out on YouTube as well, you could check out dogs, cats, and all sorts of wild beasts. But that's just a little, hint to get you over there as well.
Little cross promotional activity.
Little cross promotion for our own brand. But yeah, and then in addition, you're going to use gems to buy slightly better rooms, and coins to buy food and items throughout the house. Sprinkled throughout the house, you'll find all of these resources. Rooms will call out when they are going to give you these resources, and sometimes they'll just randomly pop up. The game presents itself very simply on its level of complexity, but with each day it does not necessarily get more complex, but as long as you are making good progress and actually unlocking rooms and solving little puzzles, you will enter into the complex era of the game. It took 14 or so in-game days for the game to really unlock for me. I'm actually playing it with my wife right now. We kind of trade off on days, and she'll, do a run, I'll do a run. And it's really fun because, like I said, the actual gameplay is incredibly simple. So it's all just about exploration and vibes and puzzles. The puzzles are absolutely out of the world in this one, ranging from very simple mathematical puzzles to, without spoilers for much thing, because with a puzzly game, there's no real skill gap or anything. Any guides or any solutions to puzzles just kind of ruins it. But for example, you have the one of us is a liar and one of us only tells the truth type of puzzle that'll pop up every day. And then from there, you have huge puzzles branching into taking notes and writing down periodic table elements in order to create a message, in order to figure out what I need to do, in order to flip a lever for the boiler room, in order to get power for another room. And it doesn't matter because I ran out of steps, so the day's over. But it's never frustrating to kind of lose the entire day to walking around, because you always have a sense of discovery while you're going around the blueprints. The blueprints is manner.
So I have 2 questions about it.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, first, how many hours have you put in? Like you said, about 14 days of in-game. What's that like?
So right now we're at day, I would say 18 or 20. Not too much time. I think I'm sitting at about 6 to 7 hours on the game.
Okay, and for the so you've explained some of the puzzle types you would see, but if we had to compare it to other games, is this more of a Witness, like the Witness from Jonathan Blowhard, or more like Resident Evil Silent Hill?
So it's a little column A, little column B, I found out. And your initial puzzles are going to be Resident Evil Silent Hill, but as you go on, you're going to get more Fezzy type puzzles in taking notes, making, writing down kind of cryptexes of periodic table elements or chess pieces or professions. The game really unlocked. We had previously discussed the game at one point before we did the record, and since that discussion, the game has really opened up for me. And as much as I liked it before, I now truly understand the hype for this, because it is a puzzle game and it is just a game in general, unlike most others, because it doesn't feel especially challenging. It just feels like I'm learning as I'm going. It is one of the few games where I genuinely feel like I am learning and growing as a player while I'm playing it. And it's a really great feeling. I absolutely love this game.
So is this one of those roguelikes, theoretically in Hades, you could win on the first run, in theory. You're not going to. But could you do that in Blueprints?
I assume that there is some way, but in my mind, there is no possible way for someone to be able to pull that off without having done a complete playthrough of the game the first time.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying Rain Man's gonna go and first try the game, but I'm somebody who's gonna beat the game one day. I'm I bet I can beat it on the first run.
Yeah, I absolutely think you could probably get a day 1 completion on this.
Okay,
what a day 1 completion means, I have no idea. I still haven't found the 46th room. I've only gotten some of the antechamber unlocked, and the moon door eludes me. And I don't know what the red envelopes are, but there's 8 of them, but I'll only ever read 7. I don't know what any of this means, but it was told to me by a fortune-telling cabinet. The game is amazing, Josh. It's so good.
I still need to download it, but right now I'm patiently awaiting my beta codes for a rematch. Hopefully I can get that. The two ends of the spectrum, the fucking nerd playing his puzzle games, and the kid who wants to play the cool football game.
The cool football game where I am the football player. It's
It's made
me.
by the
I'm
guys who
not
made
just
Sifu. I've been watching so much Rematch lately.
yeah.
It looks so
That's
good.
literally the log line for Rematch, which is a 5v5 soccer game in which you take control of a single player on the team and you just do the actual controls for that. That does not excite me. Watching the game and hearing that it's by the guys that made Shifu gets me really excited. Like, it looks so much fun. On the other end, I am impatiently awaiting an alpha access code for Marathon, which we will talk about later. But I am checking my email twice a day and checking my spam as well because everything about this game looks like it would get caught by a spam filter.
Yeah, all the names just sound fake. Google's
Yeah.
like, not that. You ain't tricking this.
Yeah.
But I still get the random like, hello, I think you accidentally bought the $500 LifeLock subscription. Give us your social security number to cancel it now. And I'm like, oh shit, I probably should do that.
Yeah.
I don't need LifeLock. I'm not old.
Yeah, no, you're never gonna die.
But yeah, Blueprints also super cool, free on fucking everything.
Yeah, amazing. And it's an indie game with a $30 price tag, but I'm just floored that they've launched everywhere on all of your, free access places. I'm sure that GOG will get it for free at some point.
You'll probably get it on
everywhere.
Twitch in the drop down. I don't know. After you might not actually. Once now that it's getting so much steam.
Yeah, they might pull it. Honestly, it's not a bad idea.
So this year's Balatro, the indie game that came out of nowhere and took the hearts of millions.
Absolutely. For me, like the only game I've played this year that comes close to eating away at my mind as much as this is Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oof.
Yeah, it takes up. And it takes up a lot more brain space for me, just in terms that in the weekend and change since I've played it.
It's a lot more thinky think. You're just like, you're just sitting at your job, like, how do I solve this puzzle?
Yeah,
your boss
it's
is
not
sitting there
even
trying to talk to you. You're like,
I solve it. I'm just excited for the next puzzle, which feels weird, and it's really, really good, really exciting to see this type of game. I'm a big fan of your indie games. I'm especially a big fan of a indie game with a lot of puzzles and a strong narrative focus. So this is ticking off everything for me. I'm very excited that
it
more
sounds
people
like
will be able to access this.
I just like that. Also sounds like it's not too in its bag. Like that's my big problem with puzzle games is like I'm not gonna say I'm dumb. I'm not gonna say I'm smart. But man, I did not like Fez. Also, Fez made me motion sick, like the world turning. That's a separate thing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Only game ever to make me motion sick. VR doesn't even do that. But
Monument
Fez,
Valley really fucked him up.
I haven't played that one. I saw that and I was like, I don't know about that. That's the one where it's like
it's real simple and pretty. Yeah.
It's like an Escher painting, right?
Some of the levels can be like that. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't played that, but I'll probably check it out because I think that's also on like Game Pass. I think they have both of them.
Almost definitely.
And like The Witness, I tried to get into The Witness. I don't think I've gotten any of that guy's games, and probably for the better because that dude sucks. But like,
if we're gonna stop playing games because people suck, I guess I'm just gonna get rid of all of my consoles at this point.
Yeah, I know that's true.
So,
but it's more just like I just didn't get into his games. Like this is before I knew anything about who this guy was, but I just like did not really care for The Witness. I'm like, yep, I'm doing line puzzles, and I guess I've been told I just didn't stick with it long enough.
It's possible, but I think also it could just be something you didn't like.
Yeah, but I think if I put like about 3 hours into your game, and I'm like, I think I get it and don't want to play anymore, I think that that's the game's fault, not mine.
That's fair.
But I do really want to check out Blueprints.
It's free. You have no excuse not to check it out.
But my controller, it's way over there. I can't really reach it.
I don't want to hear it. No excuse. Download the game.
I could just keep playing Bioshock Infinite.
Oh, really? Again?
For the first time since release.
That's still too much to play it again.
Well, they had the DLC on sale, and
Oh, okay.
I never played it. It was $5, and I played through the game again because I couldn't remember what happened, other than like I remember the ending. That's about it.
And that's about all there is to remember. There's the ending in the
There's a
beginning,
lot
and
of
then
racism of that in that game.
exactly. There's
They
the
say
ending in
some
the
words.
beginning.
I'm like, they're very brave, just throwing some of these words out there. Like some
Brave is one term. Purposefully trying to incite people into talking about it is kind of the way it felt to me. But
yeah, it's like it felt there was a lot of things like, ooh, that's just for shock factor.
yeah, absolutely.
So, maybe that's why we never got another Bioshock. But I'm playing Buried at Sea, and they tone it way the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, there's still some because it's like the 1950s, and it's no more than you heard in the original Bioshock.
Yeah, in that there are effectively no white people in Rapture.
They're all white.
Sorry, there are all white people in Rapture.
No, there's the one Chinese dude, and they call him a slur.
That works out real well.
Yeah, and they call him a nice, cool little slur.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. But Bungie just showed off Marathon.
Are we going right into Marathon?
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about DMC.
Oh, okay. I thought we were saying that for last. I misunderstood. I would love to talk about. I would love to talk about Devil May Cry. I can talk about Devil May Cry. We can make this to a Devil May Cry podcast. Like we can.
Oh yeah,
rest of
easy.
Video games.
If eagle-eyed viewers of our show notes will see that maybe there's a little hint that we really like Capcom and we talk about Capcom a lot. And Devil May Cry is absolutely one of those properties from Capcom that keeps them on our brain. There's a reason Dante shows up so often in all of your other bullshit Capcom stuff. Like, it's great. It's perfect. And this show understands why Dante and the series as a whole is so much fun. And that's why it's so great.
100%. Just like, to take it from the top, if you haven't been living under a rock and have not even heard about the discourse going around the Devil May Cry anime, it's a Netflix anime made by the same guy, Adi Shankar.
Adi Shankar.
He made the...
yeah.
Oh,
Adi.
I say it wrong.
A-D-I.
Adi.
Adi.
He was the showrunner for the amazing...
He was not the showrunner.
Was he not the showrunner? It's just his company.
Nope. Yeah, not even his company. He's an executive producer. So he's effectively a big Netflix guy. Well, now he is. Who executive produced and got the right people in the right spots for Castlevania. The showrunner was Sam Dietz.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes, he was a director for most, if not all, of the episodes. And then Warren Ellis writing the scripts for all of the episodes.
And he wrote a damned good script.
Damn good script. He usually does, despite, again, all of his shittiness and problematic stuff.
Yeah, sci-fi writers from the 80s. What can you do?
All British writers from the 80s that went into comics. It seems there's a problem with them. Go figure. Men abusing their power.
But this anime is not written by Warren Ellis.
No,
but I
don't know who wrote this.
I'm not sure either. I should probably look into that. But it is Adi's production company. I do know that.
Yes. So not the animation company, but yes, the production company is Netflix.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
Fine.
But he works for Netflix now.
Yeah, so whatever.
It is produced by Adi.
He produced it, and he knows exactly what notes to hit for video game productions. No video game anime production should ever go into existence unless he touches it in some way, I'm feeling. Yeah, because he does a damn good job. He knows who to put where.
I also don't, it's not that I feel uncomfortable calling it an anime, but it's just when a production is so American-based and produced and animated outside of America, I don't feel like it's an anime. Like, Simpsons was written and produced in America, but animated in Korea, but that really doesn't make it a Korean production at the time,
It's one of those things. if you're the person who gets mad whether somebody calls something a comic book or a manga or a manhwa, if somebody calls a manga a comic book and you get angry, I don't know, fuck yourself. Tomato, tomato. You're getting too semantic about it. It's fine.
Yeah, my favorite anime is The Simpsons. I agree.
Yeah, mine's King of the Hill. Fight me on it. But yeah, so this show is just, they say there's all this bad lore, video game lore of Devil May Cry, where it's nonsensical, non-connected stories, where the only 3 characters that truly matter that aren't already dead in the world are Virgil, Dante, and Nero.
I would definitely put Lady and Trish in there.
Other than like their appearances in 1 and 3 respectively, they don't have any other ties to the other games. So you're gonna go, wait, they were in 5. They were in 5 to get fridged.
But they didn't get fridged.
Yeah, because you saved them. But they existed to be saved, and then they sat in the van and dug a hole. And that was their entire existence.
Hey, folks, you know what? I'll take a hard stance against Josh. Women matter. Sorry, Josh.
What are you talking about? I'm saying they matter. I'm saying they didn't matter in that game. Like, they were wasted. I was really excited when I saved
3 characters matter in this series, and it was all the 3 Sparta boys.
Yeah.
But I will also put Lady and Trish in there. Hey, we can disagree. You hate women, I don't. It's fine, Josh.
No. I am just saying Capcom does not care about them.
Sure.
And I believe they remedy that in this show.
I think they definitely make Lady a very intriguing and fun character. But I also think that she was interesting before, and I don't hate women. So I'm just going to keep saying that, putting that
Stop saying I hate women.
Well,
let me tell you about the 80-20 rule, brother. That's a high value. I can't even say that. I feel sick.
Hey, you're the one saying it out loud. I don't even know what he's talking about, folks. Josh has been sending me some really upsetting DMs lately. Let's talk offline about this.
I learned so much from that. What was that Netflix show? It was like the Irish one, I think, or English one, British. I don't know. It was like 4 episodes. It was all
through Irish, English, and British.
They had an accent, and they drove on the other side of the car.
Adolescence, an amazing show.
Yeah. That's where I learned a lot from that show.
That is actually the first time I heard of the 80-20 rule as well. Yeah. And I was like,
They said that way, that's not rule. And I put my browser in incognito because I don't want that shit on me. And I Googled, I'm like, oh shit, these idiots believe that. Holy fuck.
Go watch Adolescence instead of Googling anything we're talking about. It's a great show. Amazing, beautiful, single shot, 4 episodes each. Awesome.
But yeah, we're talking about Devil May Cry, another Netflix property. It does not take in the game at all. It is its own standalone timeline, own universe, whatever you want to call it.
Same thing that Castlevania did.
Yep, same thing that Castlevania did. It takes characters and inspirations. Like, I don't think any character is too drastically changed from their game counterpart. Like, some of their backstories a little changed. But I think it's done more so to flesh it out.
Lady feels like a completely different character. She goes from being a semi-demon hunter whose sole motivation is to, kill her dad / figure out what's going on with her dad, and hating Dante in DMC3. Thank God she still hates Dante in the anime. They did maintain that character trait. But now she is a cool, badass, potty-mouthed special operative captain or lieutenant. I can't. Sergeant lady.
She's the leader of this task force. Like whatever. But she potty-mouthed is like the first thing I thought. I was like, oh fuck, she be cussing. Like she sounds like she came from the DMC reboot. That Ninja.
She sounds like she's been hanging out with Trevor Belmont a bit too much.
Yeah, she's like where like a lot of the cursing comes in. I think maybe 90% of the cursing in this show comes from Lady's mouth, and it's directed at Dante in some form or fashion.
Yeah,
but she does get some good lines though.
She does. She actually gets some of the cringier lines, but the actor delivering them really just makes them sing. Honestly,
she killed it. My favorite line, like it's just one of my favorites that made me laugh. It's not even that good. It's just "fuck you, Thumper."
Yeah,
It
yeah.
got me real good.
A good amount of humor directed towards the main antagonist of this series, White Rabbit. Just all jokes about him being a rabbit, and it's just natural. And I would do the same exact thing in their situation.
So yeah, but the show makes its own plot, and it's basically all about Dante's amulet, just how the third game was, and a little bit of the
Yeah.
first game was, and everybody just wants this amulet for reasons. And the antagonist
It
is
is a
this,
wonderful MacGuffin.
it is, and the antagonist is partially lady at first, but it's mostly the White Rabbit that you've probably
Yeah.
seen in the trailers. He's also apparently from the manga, but I think it's completely different.
In design alone, effectively.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? He's fucking awesome.
He is. He's another character that could have been a very boring or very just rote and stereotypical of his type, which is a little bit edgy demon taking a weird form, and instead ends up being fully fleshed out and definitely one of my favorite characters of season 1.
Oh yeah, like the way they treat him. Like I thought he was like, yep, it's Devil May Cry. He demon, he bad.
Yeah.
But like he has like pathos and a backstory that's good.
Yeah.
And you understand why he does what he does. You just don't agree with it, the way he goes about it.
Says you.
But that's
Let
what
him
makes
do
him
it.
that's what makes him a great villain. Is like I understand why you're doing this.
Yeah.
It's like the basis of a good villain.
You know.
And he knocks out of the park. Plus, his introduction is dope. He's so well animated every single time he gets into action.
Oh
Honestly, everything in the show is very well animated, except for like one scene I didn't really care for. Which this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, and it also leads me into my next talking point. The scene where we finally see Devil Trigger is completely underwhelming.
Yeah, but I disagree because the design of the Devil Trigger is really cool. It reminds me of Devilman. Just the way the face is shaped and everything of these characters. You have a brand new design for all of the characters, but they all go back to some form of the game design. Dante still has his red coat, white shirt, and titty holster. But the Devil Trigger I think looks really unique and different. In the games, Dante's just looking like a big badass scary prototypical demon that you would expect, but in this one specifically Sparta and then Dante's Devil Trigger has a very alien look to the face and his vibe that I really dig.
I was gonna say I got big Kamen Rider like
vibes
from
definitely.
it. Yeah, like very like the Tonkatsu, like I don't think that's what that's called.
Absolutely.
Like man, the suit type shit, like old Power Rangers.
Yeah, so I would say that I really liked, but otherwise I'm right there with you. The Devil Trigger reveal was not that great.
And the reason I think that kind of led to it, so let me go ahead and state the music is all done by Power Glove, with the obvious licensed music standing out. Not all.
They have actual composers in there as well.
Oh, really? Because it just says music done by Power Glove.
Yeah, no, there's other folks too.
The credits lied to me, but
yeah,
for the most part, the music is awesome throughout. Yeah, there are some notable exceptions. They use a lot of music from Devil May Cry 5, as they should. That soundtrack is a 100% straight banger. But they're all remixes. Yep. In a way, like where they're either a rearrangement or someone else is doing the singing, and they take Nero's fight music from 5 and use it as the Devil Trigger music. But it's not the same like singer, and it's all the non-licensed music is really low in the mix, like the audio mix, where it doesn't pop out and hit like it should. And if you play Devil May Cry, those games effectively yell at you when you get into combat.
This is actually something I noticed. I just started watching the Netflix anime Moonrise the other day, and I noticed that the music was also really low in the mix most of the time, and I that might be a production, or rather a streaming thing that Netflix is doing in terms of how they're feeding out their surround, but very surprising and kind of uh, defeats the awesomeness of a lot of these scenes by undercutting the music so much.
Yeah, like the sound effects of like wind whipping by should not be overpowering your
Yeah.
music. Like especially
Yeah.
when there's no dialogue going, let the music drive the scene.
Yeah, and I think that Devil Trigger re-record is a Power Glove production, and it does not hit at all.
It is an inferior version. They could have just used the original and it would have worked. I
Yeah,
don't care that it's Nero's theme. It's also Nero's voice actor. I'm not fucking worried about it.
yeah, none of this matters.
Other than that, the licensed music,
Oh,
I
so
was
good.
I was skeptical about the licensed music when I was seeing the trailers. I was like, yeah, I like the idea for it being in the trailers because it really sets the tone. But I was like,
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to feel like Devil May Cry is already corny, but it
yes.
might feel too like almost cringy corny. And I am so happy to say I was wrong.
Yeah,
Every
here's
time a
not a lot of
licensed
things
track
are
hit,
leaning into it, and it leans into its corniness, and it works so hard on it.
it works. Anytime a licensed track hit, I literally have a note because I was taking like my feelings as I watched it per episode. And there's like I think it was the when Last Resort played by Papa Roach. I just wrote
Yeah.
Teenage Me is eating so hard right now because
Yeah,
I was.
the last resort hit is really good. It feels so great. Not nearly as good as the butterfly needle drop, but yeah, last
I
resort was so
forgot.
fucking good.
I do have a note that just says fucking butterfly. Like
Yeah,
what is this show?
there is specifically a literal needle drop, not for Rage Against the Machine, but I believe it was Angst Against the Company was the name of
Is that
the
what the
album.
record said?
Yeah, the record drops in Dante's apartment, and it's like Angst Against the something, and I was like, that's just cute and clever, and it's those little details that really make this shine. It is a sparkling production, and yeah, we could not say much more glowing things about it, but specifically, is it episode 6?
Episode 6. Yep.
Episode 6 deserves a call out. It tells 2 backstories throughout it, just simultaneously. The majority of the episode is done dialogue free, but wow, does it just hit so hard because the 2 backstories, as you're going through them, you're getting different animation styles, you're seeing different characters in new ways, and by the time it all really comes together, your idea of what is going on in the series has probably changed entirely by the end of episode 6.
Drastically. It's also probably one of the best Evanescence music videos that have been produced.
Yeah.
God, that Evanescence song, like low-key, hits really hard.
Yeah, Afterlife by Evanescence. So good.
They wrote it for this show. Insane.
Yeah.
And just one more special call out. 2 actually. This show introduces characters that may have only been seen in like outward errata of like Devil May Cry, like the light novels and mangas and stuff. But I need to give shout out to my boy Enzo.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be Enzo.
Man. He's
so
Dante's
good.
handler. He's just a little slimy greaseball piece of shit, and I love him. And shout out to Bloodstrike, best demon ever made.
He's a perfect little Bloodstrike. I love him so much. He's the greatest. I need a Bloodstrike, maybe not a whole sub-series, but at least an Adam
OVA.
Eve style OVA, something like that. That would just really do me good.
Give me the
Adi, if you're
Bloodstrike
listening,
spin-off
please.
mobile game.
I want to know how he got to be who he is and, where he's going from here after this season. I love him. But Enzo, oh my God, our little Joe Pesci, he's, like you were saying, he's a added character from the errata of DMC, and he is fantastic. He's just another thing about the show, which on paper for me, absolutely, Enzo doesn't work. He's he's a boring stereotype of a character that I've seen 1,000 times, especially in a Capcom or Platinum or just anime sense. But he works. He's great.
He is so platinum coded now that you mention
Yeah.
it.
Oh, well, I mean, he's just pure Kamiya, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels like he would just be in Bayonetta.
Is the short Italian man in Bayonetta also named Enzo?
I could not tell. I just remember the barkeeper who was like the cool black dude.
Well, there's a short Enzo is also in Bayonetta. Like there's that exact character.
I believe you.
But I can't
Bayonetta
remember
in a
his
long,
name,
long time.
and I haven't wanted to look it up because in my mind they're the same person. Just like Dante has already done a job.
Oh
over
wait,
in
yeah, the
Raccoon
dude who
City.
like carries her shopping bags and
Yes, yeah, that guy.
He probably is named Enzo. It's probably the same
think
voice
his name
actor
is
too.
Enzo. Like
That might just
Yeah.
be a Bayonetta reference. I don't know.
no, well Enzo existed. You know, he is a errata character. Like,
Oh, okay.
He comes out of I believe a light novel, but I'm not sure about that. If my wife was here, she'd be able to tell me. She's Devil May Cry obsessive.
Hell yeah,
And-
as we all should be.
And the show is fully approved by my Devil May Cry obsessive wife. She does not binge shows. She does not really watch television shows that often, but this one got her. She was hesitant, and it won her over from episode 1. We binged it in one day. Normally, a season of a show takes us about 3 years to complete, but yeah, she ate it up and has since rewatched it.
Yeah, I also do not binge television shows.
Yeah,
I also watched this in one sitting, and I am halfway through my rewatch.
yeah.
And let me tell you, show's still good the second time through.
Good. I bet it could even be better in some ways. You
catch some of the
surprises
small details.
necessarily aren't going to hit, but yeah, those small details of which this show is littered with small details. There's so many nice little background things. Can't say it enough. The attention to detail and the pure love for the franchise really shows through on this.
Yeah, they pull things from every single aspect of the series
Yeah.
to include the bad things from the series, like Devil May Cry 2. Things are pulled from it that will have importance at some point.
Yeah, and well, the episode 1 lets you know right away that they love it all because Lucia from Devil May Cry 2 is one of the demon hunters pulled in at the beginning of the series.
And
she doesn't have any speaking lines, but just seeing that cameo was enough for me to say, hey, they found one of the good things from Devil May Cry 2, which is her. She's fun.
Also, she looks too good in the show for them not to use her later.
Yeah.
Like I looked at her, I'm like, oh, she's like rigged up and like and like she's not like I thought. Maybe in the background you'd see her.
Yeah.
But she has multiple. Like you see her multiple times. Like she looks right and awesome.
And I guess you and I have talked offline about this show a little bit, but let's just go into it one more time with the attention to detail. All of the characters, unless they are just literally a grunt, have a really fun and unique design and feel like they could be fleshed out real easily. Will they survive the first season? Hey, folks, if you know anything about Devil May Cry, you know that a lot of these folks really are not going to survive season 1. But
most Devil May Cry games only end with 2 people walking away.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I think all Devil May Cry games end with 2 people in the final scene, minus maybe the 5th one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, actually, the 5th one does end with Dante and Virgil just bullying each other.
Oh yeah,
it may not be the very final scene, but yeah, that's effectively
they're the
your
credits.
Finale. Yeah, it's so
that's
good.
Right.
God, that game's perfect. Go play DMC 5. Go play all of them. If you haven't,
it's probably I think they're all on sale right now on Steam. Like I think you can get the entire HD collection for like $10.
Yeah, HD collection gets you what, 1 through 3 or
1, 2, and 3, and there's you get buy 4 special edition and 5 special edition.
Yeah,
I think you can get the whole series for less than $30 though.
It's a deal at any price, but that is remarkable. You got to go for it. Love Devil May Cry.
And just to close out the Devil May Cry discussion, because we could easily go another 45 minutes.
Oh yeah,
the ending is fucking unhinged.
It's so good.
It's so unhinged. It's the most un-Devil May Cry part of the show,
Yeah.
but that's what makes it so good.
Yeah. We are like the show, as we said, you know, it's making its own course. It's going through its own way through, you know, its own lore that it's building off all of the fun that they've picked out from the franchise. But at this point, the very beginning of season 2 at least is completely uncharted territory.
100%.
And I am excited for that.
Yep. Like I have ideas, like there are like the vaguest ideas of things that I know we will see. I do not know how we are going to get there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if a storm is coming, I'm ready.
It might be approaching.
We'll see.
But my favorite part about like how it ends is just that Devil May Cry games don't have consequences for what happens.
No, yeah.
And like 3, a giant tower shoots through a like what looks like to be a major metropolitan city.
Even though you don't see any people.
But you see no people and nothing comes of it. 5, effectively the same plot, a big demon tree grows. You see people running and dying and all that, but then the game ends like no repercussions from it. Like, oh, it's a that happened.
Exactly. And that is both a fault and an endearing factor of these games. Like they are so self-contained, despite the fact that they want to constantly tell you that the end of the world is nigh and the stakes couldn't be higher. But everything wraps up in a nice, neat little package by the end. But that package is not so neat at the end of season 1 of Devil May Cry. Well worth your time, folks.
I swear to God, if it takes 3 years for the next fucking season to come out, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah. I already hit production, so we shall see. Netflix is pretty solid about being able to roll through their stuff, especially now.
Castlevania, I think the second season took 2 years.
Yes, Castlevania has a very odd production history in that the original production was just going to be a movie. Then it got re-scripted.
Is that why it was only like 4 episodes?
Yeah, so effectively the first script that Warren Ellis had for Castlevania Season 1 was a movie. And from what I understood, it was basically the same with the exception of maybe Alucard not coming out at the end, because that's what's leading you into your Castlevania 3 type bit. But yeah, when... I don't know if it was just like we found more interest for this, or hey, this script is a lot better than we expected. They decided to greenlight a series, split it up into 4 episodes, and then greenlight a season 2 almost immediately after release. But that took a little bit longer to get going.
Okay,
but boy, was it worth it.
Maybe we'll have a quicker turnaround, like.
I think it'll be much faster. Could you think
maybe this time next year or later in the year next year?
I think we could see like a fall 2026 release. That is what I'm expecting. Or maybe just a summer show of 2026. But yeah, I fully see next year.
Cannot wait.
That Netflix money means likely we won't be seeing a drop in production because...
if anything, it'll look better.
It'll look better. You know, keep watching it. Keep talking about it. Tell your friends. Watch it again and again. That Netflix loves their numbers, and when the numbers go up, so does the price tag on the show, and that's great for us.
And so does a Netflix subscription.
And so does a Netflix subscription. I get it through my phone. You know, I don't know how much I'm paying, but I'm sure if I was actually paying for it, it would be an obscene amount.
I think for like a one home like 1080p streaming, it's like $17.
If
you want multi-screen or 4K, $25 a month.
That sounds about right.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that.
You've become Dropout. $6.99.
$7.99.
Nope, $6.99.
They just had a price. They just had their first price raised by $1.
It was $5.99 and then it went up to $6.99.
Oh, so it's $7. Okay.
Yep.
Hey, well, you should buy Dropout.
Yeah.
Give them your money. Buy 2 subscriptions.
And Dropout, sponsor us. I'm talking to you, Sam Reich.
I don't think they will.
No, me either. But I'm just gonna say it. Anytime
shoot your shot.
I'm gonna shoot my shit.
If there was one company that I would love to shill, that's the company.
Yeah, absolutely. Just I think I would absolutely sell out. I know myself well enough to know that. but I don't want to sell out. Don't make me sell out.
Unless you're
Come on,
Sam Rish,
folks.
I'll sell out to you.
I'll sell out to you in a second.
Hell yeah, just make sure you get Game Changer me a little bit faster next year. That's all I'm asking. See Game
perfect.
Changer a little bit faster.
American Taskmaster.
Exactly, but better.
It's all different tastes.
Yeah. But now, Jarvis, can we talk about Marathon?
We
Because
can.
you seem very, Mr. checking his email twice a day for his alpha code, seems very excited. I am a little bit lukewarm on it.
I would still say I'm lukewarm on it. It's just I'm excited to test it out, to feel it out. You did the intro on DMC, so I'll go ahead and run into this. Marathon from Bungie, the folks that brought you Halo, Combat Evolved, Destiny, Destiny 2, a million other
Destiny
things
2
on top of
Evolved.
Destiny 2. And their first game actually was Marathon 1994. You'll see some references to it in the trailer. Josh and I had a discussion about this over the weekend when it dropped. He kind of told me about it, and I had no real strong feelings initially, other than I was thinking, wasn't Marathon the name of their first game? Which, yes, it was.
Yep, it was a DOS first-person maze keycard hunting shooter.
Yeah, it's System Shock and Doom combined together to make a game that's not quite as iconic as either of them, but is very, very fun. I definitely recommend the original Marathon. But this is, after watching the nearly 9-minute, not intro cinematic, but full-ass short film they released, this is definitely a sequel. The original Marathon, not going into huge plot details on it because I don't really remember them, but I know you are on a colony ship going to the 4th planet of Tau Ceti, and you're going to colonize it. Marathon takes place on Tau Ceti 4, well after the colony ship has arrived, and judging from the little movie I've watched, a lot of bad shit happened on Tau Ceti 4. Looks like that colony ship may have blown up. Looks like a bunch of people may have gotten a disease. Looks like some weird ass traveler witness-esque Destiny things came out and killed a bunch of people. So now, apparently the only thing to do on Marathon is send down your weird robot body with 2 of your weird robot body friends, and the 3 of you weird robots go out, loot, shoot, and extract. Yeah. I'm pretty pumped for this, despite my initial hesitance on it.
Did you watch the gameplay for it, though?
Yes,
the gameplay breakdown?
Yeah, I watched the gameplay breakdown initially, and I said, looks fine. Then I watched that movie, and I got very excited because I understood what was going on in the gameplay more. The 2 things together, Bungie put, I think, 3 videos out over the weekend, which is the short film, a gameplay breakdown, and then kind of like a big production thing saying, hey, streamers, this is what we're doing, join us, Marathon, all that good stuff. And yeah, but go into the gameplay a bit, Josh.
So the gameplay is a PvPvE game, but more importantly, it's what's known as an extraction shooter. So with that, you're thinking your Escape from Tarkov's, the Hunt, Showdown, the Cycle Frontier,
the Finals.
No, the Finals is not an extraction game.
You are extracting. It's just that you become number 1. It's not.
Then by that logic, Left 4 Dead's an extraction game.
But you're not. But it's not PvP.
Right. That's just so the Finals is a PvP game where you are just scoring by extracting money. You don't leave. In an extraction shooter,
you don't actually end up leaving in the extraction shooter. You just end up going to an extraction point and the game ends.
Right. But the environment exists after you leave in an extraction shooter. So in, let's say, Tarkov.
Not in the Hunt Showdown. That is not a thing exclusive to the genre. That is something that occurs in Tarkov, definitely.
Occurs in Tarkov, the Cycle, and a couple others. That's the main thing is you go in with whatever you have. Like you might have some starter gear. You go in, you find gear and resources, and you're trying to get out without dying. Like usually they don't have a respawn, and usually it's a very quick time to kill in those games.
Yeah.
So Marathon is kind of like that, except Bungie just spent the last 13 years making a MMO shooter with like really good classes and abilities, and they're like, what if we just took that and plopped it over here into Marathon? And so you have, I think it was 3 or 4 distinct classes they've announced so far.
Yeah, I think that's, just for what they want to show us at this point.
And
This one feels like it's going to be hitting quite a few more.
Yeah, because it looks like less ability to customize.
Yeah, it is a hero shooter in that you are choosing one of your set bots and then sending them down in your squad. They showed that you could have even a squad made up of 3 of the exact same bots. So
that's actually
intriguing.
Nice.
Yeah. It definitely is taking a lot from Apex in terms of character abilities and all of that, just in watching how all of the characters interact and kind of work together as a team. Like, that is a huge influence going into this, which is smart. Not a game I like, but a game that a lot of people like, so it's going to, draw in that crowd as well.
Another thing you can actually do, which is rare for extraction shooters, is reviving teammates.
Exactly.
So usually an extraction shooter, if you or your teammate get popped, they're just gone. And you could be in a zone for usually up to 30 minutes. And if they die early on, well, they're just dead.
Yeah.
And so, but the ability to revive them is cool, and it makes it seem a little bit more forgiving. And that's what I kind of felt like I was getting from this. Like, they're going to be a more forgiving extraction shooter.
I don't think so. I think
you can still die and lose your stuff, but
they
have you can get sponsors to give you gear to go back out.
Yeah.
Other games don't do that. They're just like, oh, you don't have anything? Good luck.
Yeah, the genre is getting larger and larger at this point. I believe it's a bunch of Blizzard devs went out and they're making the extraction shooter in which you're also piloting a massive spaceship. That kind of seems to be similar, and this is similar to that as well, in that as long as the ship's still alive, any member of the crew can still respawn. So while the game definitely started out as a more harsh, or the genre started out more harshly, I don't necessarily think that the harshness is a hallmark of the genre. That, PUBG is your first battle royale game, and that is, you could say it's realistic and harsh, but I would not call a battle royale game. Most of them are not similar to PUBG.
Most of them have the ability to respawn now. I think Warzone does it. Apex has a mode where you can respawn.
Yep.
I assume Fortnite
you can
does.
Get some respawns. Yep.
Yeah, that was but it's usually those games like H1Z1 PUBG started that whole battle royale genre, and usually those things start as these niche hardcore experiences.
Most games start out hardcore. Most genres start out hardcore, and then you feed it out to the masses by making it better, more fun, and then more accessible for more people.
Yeah, there were roguelikes before Rogue Legacy existed. They were just mean to you.
Yeah, they were called Rogue.
Now, there's others, a lot of the mystery dungeon games were inspired by Rogue, but those games kind of mean.
Yes.
Sometimes not nice.
That's why we like Rogue-like games. We don't want to play Rogue. That's not fun for us.
No one. There's 10 people who've played Rogue, and they helped pioneer the roguelike genre, and that's good. Good for them. I'm proud of them. Yep. It's not going to be me. But yeah, Marathon, I haven't even signed up for the alpha. They'll probably do a free beta, and I'll try it out, and I'll know very quickly if it's the type of game for me. Because it's coming out this September, which is I know this game had some troubles, they have delayed it before. But they're September 23rd or something like that. And I was like, ooh, I don't believe that for a second.
Well, I definitely was on that side of not believing it initially, but it seems to be. I don't know if it's going to be free. It's Bungie slash Activision,
They've
so
stated it's going to be a premium title.
okay.
It's
Well,
Bungie slash
premium
Sony.
title with a bunch of extra other free to play priced add-ons to it, which is my favorite thing about all of these. But uh, I think the game's going to come out and develop with the community. So I can see a September 23rd drop easily, and then I can see it not being anywhere near the same game by September even of next year.
Yeah, it's just really it's all I'm kind of scared for it. It really depends on because it's Bungie's owned by Sony now, technically. I mean, literally, but how is Sony going to handle this? Because I hate to draw the like comparison, but Concord came out as a multiplayer only thing, and they left it on the vine to die. In fact, they culled it themselves.
Yeah, wild move. I cannot think of many circumstances in which this has happened.
Right, I think that's like the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't
Anthem
have
is the only one I feel like got as dropped as quickly by their company.
They still have like 8 months.
Exactly, not nearly as short, but yeah.
Like Anthem or Concord had a week or two.
Yeah, I think a week is about what it hit.
Ridiculous, like, ugh. So I'm just kind of scared. Like, granted, it's got the Bungie name behind it, which is going to give it a little bit more like. There's going to be some cross promotion inside Destiny. I'll tell you right now. You can probably get those marathon skins.
Yeah.
Right around the time marathon's coming out inside your Destiny 2.
You'll probably, maybe get a little ghost or something to float around you as a trinket in marathon. Says,
buy sometimes. Marathon, please.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just worried how Sony's going to treat it because they made this big push for a live service initiative, and that was a state of play from 2 years ago, 2023. Where you saw things like Fair Games, which hasn't come out yet, Concord, which came out and doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it's the Chris Benoit of the video games, where we just don't talk about it anymore. And like, I don't even know what else. I think Marathon got announced there, but nothing else has really come from that. Like, that was a big initiative they're pushing, and like, they seem to have walked it back a lot.
Yeah,
like I feel like they're scared of it now.
Yeah, it was not. It seemed like that was the way that the entire industry was moving, and it didn't happen like that. Not everyone else did not vibe with them and start putting all of their bucks and big production dollars into live service. I mean, is The Last of Us multiplayer
Last of Us Factions got canceled.
Yes,
because Bungie said, "Yo, you guys need to you guys are really ambitious with this, but remember, you have to maintain this. Like, you can't just drop this and release it and leave." They're like, "Oh, Night Dog said, never mind. Fucking do it then."
Yeah, we don't support games like that. Like,
we just wanted to make a cool thing and then go away.
Yeah, it probably would have played really well, but then I think it would have fundamentally changed that company entirely.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't want to keep it.
It's a good move.
But yeah, other than that, that's really my big fears for Marathon. It'll probably play great. Bungie they are the kings of making shooty shoot feel real good.
Yeah.
And then have all the lore hidden from you so that you don't care about what you're doing.
Yeah, but I don't know. The lore that is hidden is genuinely intriguing. They do sci-fi in a way that no other company really does sci-fi. I don't know who it is at Bungie initially who said we are going to actually read hard sci-fi novels and then try to make those hard sci-fi novels appeal to the masses. And they did it. Halo takes a ring world, it takes your Dyson sphere, it takes all of these weird things, and it makes them really fun and accessible to now that people when they see a ring world or something, they're like, oh, it's like Halo.
Yeah.
Like it is. It is now. It's no longer like a
Ramna or
1970s.
whatever.
Yeah, but hey, and that's what I'm seeing. You see a lot of that with the metaphysical weirdness of Destiny, and Marathon seems to be right in between the weird love for hard sci-fi and the weird love of like the crazy space opera of in terms of just a quick glance at the movie. I've now watched the movie twice. I've picked it apart. I truly love the Marathon short film. Big love, death, and robots vibes. The shots are so cool. It's animated so well, and yeah, I think that in play with the actual gameplay video is what got me excited for the game.
I might have to check that out. I mean, I'm not gonna get my hopes up for it being a very story heavy game. Like that's probably
No, it's
like
just
I think
the
it's gonna be
vibes.
like yeah, I think it's just probably a vibes thing.
I
Like
mean,
or how at the beginning of any like free to play seasonal game where they have like here's the cutscene for this season to advance our story.
yeah, with the exception of we're only in season 2, but Marvel Rivals consistently dropping lore on me, whether it's character interactions, actual 500 to 1,000 word little blurbs and stories. They're killing it in terms of vibe and world building for their particular corner of the Marvel universe, and I love that. I hope
I've
they
got
keep it
over
up.
like 75 hours in that game, and I don't think I could tell you why anything's happened. There are two Dooms, and they are fighting, and they are drafting their best fighters from the multiverse.
You are wrong already.
Yeah, see, I have no idea. I just know
You
I've
gotta
seen
keep
pictures
reading.
of two separate Dooms,
Yeah.
and somehow we're doing the Hellfire Gala. Blade's still chained up, so I can't play his Blade like I thought
No, he
I'd
is
be able
not.
to.
You're so behind on the lore, man. Blade is recuperating.
Oh, he's recuperating
Yeah,
because we
he's laying
saved
down
him
in
in that
bed.
map.
He's sleeping next to his sword. He's laying down in bed.
Yeah, I'm not the go hunt the lore type guy. I like stories. I don't give a fuck about lore and things.
I like both.
Lore is like if I like the story you're giving me, I'll bite on the lore.
Yeah.
But if you're not giving me like I need the worm,
Yeah.
you don't give me that, I'm not gonna chase it down. Like everybody's like, you gotta read the lore cards in Destiny 1. I was like, no. I am not going to download an app to read the lore cards in Destiny 1. Just like I'm not going to read the short stories under the heroes banner, like tab on Marvel Rivals. Like the queue times are 0.1 seconds. I don't have the time to even get there.
Yeah, no way.
And my wife will re-queue as a habit. Like, all right, we're getting off now. Match found.
Bing.
Like, baby.
Oh, match found. Sorry. I can't get off or else I'll get a penalty.
Exactly. But that's, is there anything else you want to drop on Marathon other than you're excited for it?
I love the vibes. As I said earlier, it's leaning into its hard sci-fi nature. Very cyberpunk meets space opera. Cyberpunk as a genre, not necessarily the CD Projekt Red now property. I think it looks really intriguing and fun, and yeah, I really dig it. Go watch that cinematic. It's really good.
Yeah,
it's just a good sci-fi short film.
Yeah, again, I'll probably end up playing it because I want to like things, but sometimes it doesn't work out like that.
I like most things. I'll say I'm a liker of things, unless you're boring. That's the worst thing something can be to me is not bad. It's not stupid. It's just boring.
Yeah, I can bite on anything. It's gotta be fun.
Yeah,
as long as I'm having fun with it. You can be dour and sad, but if you're making me feel dour and sad, like good job, you did it.
Yeah, you're affecting me outside of my initial experience of you. That's crazy.
But before we wrap it up, Jarvis, we do have the thing we do every week.
Yes,
we have to give one recommendation that is not video games, because, ladies, gentlemen, and bees, the world exists outside of video games as much as we don't want it to.
This is
So,
true.
Jarvis, what do you recommend this week that is not a video game?
So I'm gonna go ahead and recommend the Adventure Zone graphic novel series, written by Merle Highchurch himself, Clint McElroy, uh, drawn by the lovely artist Carrie Peach, and taking its full inspiration from the first campaign of the McElroy Boys series. Sorry, my dog just walked in with a chicken in her mouth. It's very, very cute. I will immediately be playing with her after this. But based on the first campaign of the McElroy Boys Adventure Zone series, that is three brothers and their father playing D&D in a very fun, skewed version of the Forgotten Realms. It is fantastic, fun, science fantasy adventure. It'll get right off the bat into uncharted territories from where I expected it in terms of the story. The art by Carrie Peach perfectly encapsulates what makes like the vibe of the series and what makes them so fun. And I couldn't see the characters any other way now after seeing them like this. There's at least 5 volumes out of a projected 7 to 8 volume series, and then hopefully if people keep buying it, we'll get an adaptation of the Amnesty campaign, known by most people as the best Adventure Zone campaign. So
That's
I
my
would be
favorite.
excited. It's so good that that Amnesty sting gets me every time.
Oh, yeah, it's
that
so
music's
good.
so good. How about you? What do you got?
So for me, I recently watched a documentary on Disney Plus about the Goofy movie. Now, I should probably know what it's called. I don't have it offhand.
Oh no.
But if you go on Disney Plus, it is a documentary about the making of the Goofy movie from the 90s. That's a film I grew up with, like had it on VHS, watched it a lot and loved it. And this movie is about how this movie got made, like the trials and tribulations they faced, how they handled it when, because you can look this up. This movie has a very low like critic score when it came out because they just didn't understand why Goofy was showing emotion and being a well-rounded character when he's supposed to be one-dimensional.
Because critics and journalists are heartless bastards.
Which is the craziest critique you could have on something.
Yeah.
Is why is this a well-rounded character? That's insane.
Why does this
to
character
me.
have more than one dimension?
That's
This
an insane
sucks.
critique.
Yeah.
And how that movie just kind of died on the vine, like
Yeah.
in theaters, and did not do well. And they all thought it was a failure as a movie. Like the people who made it and spent like 4 years making it. And then it goes into like how like our generation
Yeah.
really connected with it, and why you're seeing Powerline shirts in like stores nowadays. Because
So
like
good.
they didn't realize
he's
that this
hot,
movie
that's
had
why.
been that much of an success until like 15 years later.
Yeah, I can't think of another Disney movie that has this sort of cult status like Goofy movie does.
Like, so when I watched the documentary, I was surprised when they said it didn't do well. I was like, I went, a Goofy movie?
Excuse me?
The Goofy movie did bad? Like, I thought that was a hit. I thought it was a hit because
Yeah.
the movie came out before I was born, I think. I think it came out in 93, so it's a year older than me or something like that.
Well, this is the 30th anniversary of Goofy, so
So it came out in 95 then?
presumably.
So I was a year old at max.
Oh, at max, I get it. Totally
Goofy
intentional
movie,
pun.
Goofy movie reference.
Goof. What a goof.
So I was like, and I grew up with it on VHS, right? So like,
Yeah.
I obviously did not hit that in the theaters. I was an infant, but I grew up with it on Disney Channel all the time, on VHS. I never got it on DVD though.
Probably
Like,
watching
you already
Goof
have it on
Troop
VHS.
as well.
Oh, loved Goof Troop.
Goof
Big
Troop is so
fan.
good.
Like brothers, like sons,
Like
always
sons.
on the run. So I was just so surprised. Like,
Yeah.
this wasn't a hit. Like everybody I know who's seen it loves that movie. Like, what do you mean it failed?
That's
And
impossible.
it's just like kind of, it's almost like a redemption arc in the documentary about this movie, and it honestly had me tearing up a little bit. But I'm a little
That's
basic.
good.
I'm a basic bitch who cries at things.
I did have to look it up just to give a a quick real plug for it. It is called Not Just a Goof. As Josh said, if you search Goofy on Disney Plus, you would definitely find it.
It's gonna be like the Goofy movie, and then that.
And then an extremely goofy movie after.
Oh,
that.
I like that one too as a kid.
I
probably does not hold up as much.
No, there's no way. I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid. I don't think I've seen an extremely goofy movie as an adult. I could not recap the plot even slightly.
Max B skateboarding.
Yes. Yeah, that is true.
I think he goes to college at the end.
Probably.
Irrelevant.
I really cannot remember it at all. But yeah, Not Just a Goof.
If you can remember what the hell happens in an extremely goofy movie, feel free to tell us.
Yeah,
So,
please.
You can find me at Josh494 at anywhere that could be a handle, whether it be YouTube, Twitter /X, Blue Sky, all of it. And you can also find Pixel Pickers at Pixel Pickers Pod on all the same places.
Absolutely. We're completely unoriginal and very lucky in that nobody else wanted our ridiculous name for a podcast.
No, it's not a great name, but it's ours and we love it.
Yeah, it's true.
I like it because it shortens to PP.
PP. Whoa.
Yep. See,
I'm
getting
it. Barked at. It is the time to go is what I'm learning.
All right. Well, as always, I am still Josh.
And until I upload into the, robot body I have on Tau City 4, I'm still Jarvis for now. Just remember, it's dangerous to go alone. Take us.
That dog is so angry.